Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we take that stack of sources you have, all the dense evaluations, the memos, the research, and we pull out the signal from the noise. We give you the knowledge you need, but in a fraction of the time. Today, we're opening up a pretty massive file on culture, on development. It's the ex-post evaluation of the 2019 European Capitals of Culture, the EcoC action, and we're focusing on Matera in Italy and Plovdiv in Bulgaria. So our mission is to really understand how these two, wildly different cities handled the pressure of holding a continental title. We're not just going to report tourist numbers.
Oh, no.
We're going to dissect the core strategies they use, the unique hurdles they face, especially around, political instability and funding, and what these huge cultural projects really tell us about the government and civic structures underneath.
And it's so important to start by just establishing the scale of this.
Mm-hmm.
These cities weren't just, throwing a festival for a year.
Right.
The whole EcoC mechanism, it's designed to force long-term development. Yeah. So they were being measured against these four huge objectives: promoting Europe's cultural diversity, fostering culture's contribution to long-term urban development, widening citizen participation, and of course, massively strengthening their cultural sector.
Incredibly high standards.
Exactly. So when we talk about their successes and failures, It's all against that very, very high bar.
Okay, so let's start with Matera, that jewel of southern Italy. It's a pretty small city, right? About 60,000 people.
Right.
But it's globally known for its amazing aisassi, those ancient cave dwellings. And Matera's bid was explicitly about cultural renovation, not just for itself. It was about positioning itself as an engine for the whole region.
The entire south of Italy, really. They came in with this powerful motto, open future, but also with some serious deficits. The sources are clear they were lacking the basics.
Like what?
Modern cultural infrastructure. No large-scale theaters, very few existing international connections. They had to focus on capacity building almost from day one. And what's fascinating is how they turned that lack into an actual identity.
Okay, let's unpack that a little, because they didn't just go and build a new theater. They built a whole new system, a system of governance centered on citizen involvement.
They called Matera a co-creation laboratory.
It sounds a bit like a buzzword, I know, but the data is pretty striking. Citizens were directly involved in something like 70% of the final cultural program. That's almost 57,000 local people.
And the tool they used to make this happen, to get people on board, was genuinely revolutionary. It was the Matera 2019 passport.
This was so much more than just a ticket.
So much more. They sold 74,000 of these passports, and they gave permanent, unlimited free access to the majority of events.
Wait, hold on. 74,000 passports. For a city of 60,000 people, was that mostly tourists? Or did the locals actually buy into this idea?
It was a mix, but here's the genius part. They connected it to local identity. The passport was linked to this concept of the temporary citizen.
A temporary citizen.
Yeah. If you bought one, you had to agree to a decalogue, basically 10 ground rules for promoting responsible, immersive engagement with the city. It was a contract.
So it transforms you from a passive tourist into an active participant.
Precisely. The cultural experience became a kind of civic duty, even for visitors.
That's a powerful idea. It's basically a behavioral contract you sign.
Yeah.
What was the most impactful part of that? Did it actually change how people behaved?
Well, the rules focused on respecting the SASSy environment.
Yeah.
Use public transport, don't litter. But the real impact was psychological. It was Matera saying, we are defining the terms of tourism here.
Right.
And that civic focus, it went deep into their inclusion projects, which is a major EcoC goal. You see projects like Silent Academy, where migrants and refugees share traditional arts from their home countries. And then there was the incredible Humana Vergogna.
That was the theater project.
Yeah. Yes, involving detainees from the local prison, using performance to explore collective and individual shame. That is serious social work happening under the banner of a cultural performance.
But those kinds of projects, they need sustained support. They need physical space. Where did all this energy go?
They invested heavily. First, they founded the Open Design School, a lab for art, science, and technology. It became a permanent hub for this co-creation idea. But physically, the most stunning thing was the revival of the Cava del Sole.
The historic quarry.
Which was completely abandoned until the EcoC. Matera got funding, restored it, and turned it into this incredible versatile space with an open-air arena that can hold 7,000 people. They didn't just fix their infrastructure problem, they built a world-class venue from nothing.
That's an incredible transformation. So Matera tackled its history by building new systems. Now, let's shift east to Plovdiv in Bulgaria. They didn't need to build history. They kind of needed to overcome it, right? To unite this huge multi-ethnic population.
Absolutely. Plovdiv is way older. We're talking an 8,000-year history. It's one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world.
And it's much bigger, closer to 350,000 people. And its local character is defined by Ilyak.
Ah, Ilyak, that wonderful local philosophy.
Yeah, that relaxed almost. Laissez-faire attitude to life.
It is, and so Plovdiv built its eco-sea around the motto together. The whole point was using culture to drive real social change and integration for its very complex, multi-ethnic population.
So the challenge was clear. How do you get thousands of people mobilized when the local philosophy is basically take it easy?
It's a huge contrast. And their response was mobilization. The foundation ran 20 open calls, got over 1,700 project proposals, and ended up with 513 public events. And critically, they made them accessible. 61% of those events were free.
A huge jump from their baseline.
A massive jump from just 10% in 2017. But the really heavy lifting came through their Fuse platform. This was the core project designed to, and this is their phrase, blast the ghettos.
Specifically engaging the large Roma minority in neighborhoods like Stalipanovo.
Right, trying to bridge these really deep-seated ethnic and economic divides using collaborative art.
And the sources say that while, overall Roma participation was modest, that intentional focus led to some extraordinary results. And here's where it gets really interesting. There was one specific success, the theater performance of Medea,
which featured child actors from the local Roma, Turkish, Jewish, and Armenian communities, all on one stage.
That couldn't have been a one-off thing.
No, it was a multi-year effort to build trust and collaboration between those kids and their communities. It's less a cultural event and more sustained, intense social work. The real win wasn't the final performance, it was the process of getting those diverse groups to trust each other.
And they performed this at Plovdiv's most iconic venue, the ancient theater of Philippopolis. This structure, it was built in the 1st century AD. It's a powerful symbol.
It's spectacular. And it was lost to history for centuries. They only found it in the 1970s after a huge landslide revealed it. The restoration itself is still studied as a triumph of Bulgarian conservation.
And it's a living venue today. It hosts massive events like the Opera Open Festival. Even international rock bands record live albums there.
Which perfectly illustrates Plovdiv's whole strategy. Using its undeniable ancient heritage, not as a museum piece, but as a live stage for modern, difficult, and really high-impact social dialogue.
So let's connect this to the bigger picture. Both cities saw real, quantifiable results, right? The eco-sea year definitely delivered on tourism.
Oh, absolutely. The numbers were there. Matera, for its part, registered the single highest increase in tourism growth among all eco-cities.
In the history of the entire program.
In the entire history. And Plovdiv saw a very solid 27% increase in international tourists compared to 2015.
And what about capacity building?
Also a clear success. Matera's cultural businesses grew by an impressive 42%. Between 2013 and 2018. So that civic buy-in, it translated directly into economic activity. And Plovdiv used its Forum 2019 initiative that was 60 workshops for cultural operators to really strengthen skills in their art sector.
But the deep dive has to look under the hood, beyond the successful metrics. And the sources are very clear that both cities, even with strong operational teams, were almost derailed by systemic failures.
Mostly around governance and funding.